Hi traders, thanks for stopping by thetradinganalyst.com. This is Taylor, and we're going to take a look at a few of the tech charts that I've been looking at, and I'm going to tell you exactly what I think about these tech companies and where I think they're going to be headed here in the near term. But first, if you're not already a member at thetradinganalyst.com, go ahead and give us a visit on the homepage of the website and get to know us a little bit better. If you like these free videos and analysis that we give to you on a daily basis, it's really nothing in comparison to the membership you get once you sign up with your premium membership. Once you sign up with that premium membership, you're going to gain instant access to the profitable trade alerts that our current members are getting on a daily and weekly basis. It's a great opportunity, and we'd love to help you with your trading. All right, so let's get going on these charts here. First, we're going to cover Alibaba. And Alibaba here, as you can see here, has a broken trend line right here. You can see bouncing off of this trend line, bouncing off this trend line. Okay, finally we break that right here. So to me, this is really not, in and of itself, it's not a huge deal, okay? But what I am noticing, other than that, is this support break, okay? This support break. So we've got not only the trend line break, but we have this support. We broke over this resistance. It turned into support. You can see we got a bounce here, there, here, and we closed below it here on Friday, as well as below the trend line right here. So we've got tight Bollinger Bands. So I do think that we could see a nice little move here to the downside on Alibaba. The first support I see below us is right about here at about 143.60. So 143.60 approximately is that level of support based off of this previous resistance right there, right here, and right there. So definitely think that we can head lower here on Alibaba. That's what we're expecting here. And just keep in mind, I posted a chart here on, I believe it was Friday, on StockTwits and Twitter, and I got a lot of blowback. You got to realize that overall, this stock is very bullish here. Okay, so when I say some downside, I'm not saying this stock is going to be crashing down lower. I just think that it just needs a little bit of a rest. As you can see, it's virtually gone straight up all year. So here was January 1st. We barely even broke, here we broke the 20-day simple moving average for what, like 2 days right here. And when's the last time we even broke the 20-day simple moving average? Nowhere. So this is the first time that we've actually broken that 20-day simple moving average since over here when we broke it for like 2 days. Okay, so stocks, they don't go straight up, okay? So they got to fluctuate a little bit, bounce, drop, and then bounce, and then head higher and break these highs, okay? So just kind of going over the overall picture here. When I say it's heading lower here, this just means in the very short term, I see some weakness happening on Alibaba. And another thing I want to point out here is the similarities here to this previous action that we saw last year, right around this time. Okay, so in October, which is just a month from now, we saw some weakness here, very similar setup. So here was that trend line break, all right, and then here we had this support break right here. So trend line break, support break, same time of year. The S&P was seeing a little bit, the NASDAQ and the S&Ps we're seeing some weakness at that time. Same thing that we're seeing here. We're seeing some weakness in the NASDAQ as well as the S&P 500. Very similar setup here. You can see that we hammered right here, closing just below that support. Same thing here, right there. So very similar action that we're seeing, and price tends to repeat itself. And remember what it did last time. So last time, broke that support, broke that trend line, and we headed lower here. Obviously, you can see we bounced huge after that, but you're only talking about the short term. I see some weakness happening. I could see it heading as low as about 135. So the next one we're going to be covering is Logi. And Logi, we've got a big level here. First of all, I want to point out on the monthly chart. All right, so the monthly chart, these are the previous all-time highs back here from 2007, 2008, right here. All right, and look at where we got rejected right here at those highs, about $38. You can see the monthly chart broke over that level, and then we had this rejection candle right here. So this is the first inverted hammer candle that we've had on Logi, pretty much ever. Here's one right here, 2012. You can see we had that inverted hammer, and then we headed lower. You can see right here we've got an inverted hammer here on the monthly chart. See it traded sideways and then down big time. So here we've got that big inverted hammer, and you can see it did so on heavy volume. All right, so that's one reason. We've got this drop here, and this is based off of earnings. And I looked at the numbers here, and the earnings were very poor. We had a very steady growth of earnings, and again, I like to focus mainly on price, but it's good to know the background here of the stocks that you're trading. So Logitech had a very steady earnings growth throughout this whole run. Okay, it was growing, making a lot of money. EPS was growing, income was growing, revenue was growing, and we had a big drop in revenue and income and EPS here. And as you can see, that's why it dropped on huge volume right there, breaking that trend line. You can see, got a bounce here, there. Finally, we broke this trend line here on big volume based off of that poor earnings report. The last time we reported numbers that were anywhere close to where we reported on this earnings report was back here when the stock was trading at below $25. All right, so big drop in EPS and revenue and income there, and you can see the chart agrees with that as well. So we broke that trend line, and now we came into this support. Here's that support. You can see it a little cleaner if we just raise it up right here. You can see support, just trading sideways right here, and now we broke that support. So we've got earnings that are agreeing with us. We've got the chart that is agreeing with us, and it's closing below some moving averages, and I do think that this stock is going to be headed lower. First target is going to be about 32.50 based off of this gap up low, and you can see it's a little bit of support from that previous highs over there. So I do think that Logi is going to be headed lower in the near term. Next one we're going to take a look at is NVDA. And NVDA, I want to cover the monthly chart just really quick. So the monthly chart, you can see here, we had this inverted hammer right here on NVDA, and then you've got the next candle that couldn't hold over the highs of that inverted hammer. Again, right here, we tried to break higher, but ended up closing again. So we've got this inverted hammer right here, and then we've got 2 candles in a row, 2 months in a row that could not hold over that high of that inverted hammer. So I do think it's going to be headed lower here. Looking at the daily chart here, you can see that we've got a trend line break right here. So here's that trend line right there, and then finally we broke below that. Another thing is we had a little bit of a false breakout look. So here was that resistance right there. Finally we broke over that resistance right here. It turned into support. So now we broke back under this level. So this is a clear rejection of these levels. Okay, when you break these levels, you want it to keep going. Okay, when you break these levels, you want to keep going, not break these levels, trade sideways for a while, and then break back below it. So I do think that NVDA is going to be headed lower. I do want to point out just really quick that NVDA's earnings were solid, and they are still solid. So it's growing on a revenue basis, an income basis, and an EPS basis. So with that said, if and when it does head lower, which is what we do think is going to happen, I do think that it's a very nice stock to buy a bounce on. If we head anywhere near about 120, 120 to about $95 in this range, I do think is a good buy zone here, if and when we do head lower, just because nothing has really changed on this stock from a fundamental standpoint, but it just needs a rest right now. So just needs a rest right now. I do think it's going to be headed lower. First target on the downside is going to be these lows right here. So that low right there, I think, is going to get hit. About 140 is going to be that near-term target. So about $15 lower than where we are right now is where we're going to head most likely on NVDA. You can see we broke here on heavy volume. You can see the previous day heavy volume before earnings, and then the next day on earnings reaction, you can see we broke down on a heavy volume. You can also see the Bollinger Bands expanding here. So this can move pretty swiftly on NVDA. So just keep these levels in mind. First level, 140, is that conservative target. If we do head lower down to 120, to me that's a buying opportunity, as I do think this is still a very overall strong bullish chart. So if you look here, you know, you've seen NVDA do very well overall. So a very strong stock, growing in earnings, growing in income and EPS, but just needs a rest here in the near term. So thank you for stopping by and watching this video, everyone. Hopefully you enjoyed it and learned a thing or two from it. If you like this video and the other free videos that we give to you on a daily basis, it's nothing in comparison to the membership you get once you sign up with your premium membership at thetradinganalyst.com. Once you sign up with that premium membership, you're going to get instant access to the profitable trade alerts that our current members are getting on a daily and weekly basis. It's a great opportunity, and we'd love to help you with your trading.